So, a large part of what I think people are misunderstanding in this movie is that, like most movies, this has an A story and a B story, right? The A story is the Barbie story, and the B story is the Ken story. And at some point, the Ken story inflicts the Barbie story, which is how most good stories happen, is that the B story takes over at some point and it does stuff to the A story. So Barbie's story,
What kind of stuff?
weird stuff. Mojo Dojo Casa Houses kind of stuff.
Yeah, whoa.
So,
It shows for kids too, so.
so Barbie's story is a journey of self-reflection, right? So it's very she starts out in the perfect world and gets the like feeling and understanding that there's something different about her life that isn't as fulfilling or as real as she thought it was. And then she goes and experiences the real world and goes, "Oh my God, this is awful."
Just like we all do.
Just like we all do, yeah. Waking up every morning, we got to go to work, got to go do shit. And Barbie has to find this kid and has to be like, "Look, things aren't awful and terrible. Look at me. It's perfect. You can be just like me." And learns that there's a lot of like weird stuff going on, that women aren't the center of the entire world, that they're not even fully in charge like they are in Barbie world. Little girls don't exactly feel like Barbie's empowering them anymore either, and that really throws her off. And at some point, she kind of turns onto their side and is like, actually, yeah, all of this stuff that I thought that I represented isn't real anymore. And that's also a problem.
Also very realistic. I mean, sometimes we live our lives thinking that this is how our life is going to go and this is what our purpose is. And then, things change. And then you realize, you know what, maybe my life isn't meant to be that. So also just it's crazy with all the pink and all the songs and all the stuff, like how very grounded and realistic this is. So,
yeah. And so it turns into more of a story of Barbie coming to the understanding that even though life isn't perfect, maybe it is for her. Which is a very that's a really good hard hitting message. And then you got like the complete opposite scale, and you got Ken, right? Ken goes with Barbie to the real world after being like, it's very easily understood at the beginning that Ken isn't an individual. He is quite literally just made to be an accessory to Barbie. Very unfulfilled. Yeah. I use the word accessory as a very like real. That's a good word for it. Keep that one in the back of your head as we keep going. And then he goes with Barbie to the real world to go help her because he needs to prove his worth. It's Barbie and Ken, right? Barbie and Ken. Always Barbie and Ken, not Ken. Sometimes just Barbie, but it's always Barbie and Ken.
I need a Ken and Alan.
Yeah, Ken and Alan. That'd be good. That'd be really funny, actually.
Ryan Gosling and Michael Cera.
That'd be really funny. Just a little spinoff. Yeah. So he goes to the real world with Barbie, with the idea to go and help her, right? To go, hey, well, whatever you need done, we'll get it done. And they show up, and almost immediately she understands. I think she says the word, "I feel unsafe," and he goes, "I feel the exact opposite. Yeah. This is awesome," and it's
well. And then the random lady, she chimes in and she says, "Oh yeah, that's anxiety." Yeah, it is. Yeah. True.
It is absolutely.
Just the overshadowing and easiness.
Yes, this is the part of the movie where I think a lot of people felt like it was like almost itching a little too close to the edge of being like preachy and not what's the word I'm looking for? It was pushing like a political like boundary in a movie instead of like sending a message. It was like being preachy.
Yeah, like a social commentary.
Yeah, being a social commentary instead of a story. But as long as you listen
watching,
for
yeah.
like 5 minutes.
Yeah, keep watching.
It kind of makes its point for itself, right? So it's not intending to be preachy at all. It's quite literally just trying to go, hey, bad. No matter which way you put it, bad. And so Barbie goes off on her adventure to go find this girl, and Ken goes off on his adventure to understand what patriarchy is.
Which it turns out that it's just like horses and big trucks.
Horses and big trucks. Yeah, horses, big trucks, and fur coats, apparently. Yeah. And so he learns about patriarchy while Barbie searches for this girl. He ends up going back to Barbie Land and preaches the gospel of patriarchy. And it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
It is. Keep that,
but it's so funny.
Keep that in mind, how dumb that is. Because we'll talk about how dumb it is.
Yeah, well, it only gets worse. So Barbie finds the people she's looking for, realizes that it's not a little girl, it's a full-grown adult, which also makes a lot of sense, because the dreams of little girls eventually turn into dreams of adult women, and adult women have a lot more existential crises than young kids do. Hopefully, yeah. It is 2023.
Protect our kids. They shouldn't be stressed out.
Absolutely, protect them kids. And so Barbie goes back to Barbie Land with the people to be like, what if I just show you how good this place is? Maybe it'll help lift your spirits or whatever. I don't know what she was planning, to be honest. I don't think she knew what she was planning. I think she was like, let's just go home. So that's what they did. And when they get there, it's all different. Like, I don't know what took the 20 minutes for Ken to change everything, but he did it quick. Patriarchy moves fast, apparently, especially when you're well educated on it. And so everything's changed. They go back. All of the Barbie's dream houses are Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa houses. And all of the Barbies are subjugated to being accessories to the Kens. Again, another good piece of commentary there. And the whole thing pretty much just leads to Barbie explaining the same message that she has learned through this whole journey to Ken, going, why does it have to be you and me? Why does it have to be me and you? Why can't we just both be individuals? Why can't Ken just be Ken? And why can't Barbie just be Barbie? Which is another awesome message. I think the exact line is you are more than just your girlfriend, or you're not your girlfriend, or something like that. Something like that. You're not just your girlfriend. Which is be a person.
Yeah, it's definitely like, don't make your identity someone else. Like, all right, I'm going to get a little preachy here. Like, seriously, like, if you're out there, no matter your age, because this is not just a young person thing, this is an everybody thing, you shouldn't make your life or your personality or your goals just about a person. Like, I think it's very important to understand who you are first, like really understand what you like, what you don't like, the things that, and just understand yourself. And I'm talking about like the deeper things about you, the things that hurt you and why they hurt, and trying to figure that stuff out. Because here's the thing, I think the greatest thing where you can demand the most like respect for yourself is if you know yourself. Like, the better you know yourself and the things you like, the things you don't like, the less pitfalls you might fall through in life. And I'm talking about, like, especially when it comes to relationships, because, oh my gosh, here's a little soapbox about dating and stuff like that, is that if you don't have a goal, like, you're just like putting yourself out there, and you're just like, well, I don't really know what I like and what I don't like. You got to figure out those things so that you can avoid some heartaches. Because I think the more you get into relationships willy-nilly, the more jaded you become, and the more. So I think it's very important for you to understand. Like for me, there was some very pivotal moments in my life where I realized, oh, this is the type of girl that I like. And so that saved me a lot of trouble once I knew exactly the type that I was attracted to. And, trying to figure out, just because I'm attracted to those things, maybe it's not the healthiest thing. I think, and just working through those things as well is extremely important. But having self-respect, figuring out what you like, what you want, because you don't want to move into something. And then you're just like, wow, like if I stay here, I can't do these other things that I want. Just do the things you want. And then maybe somebody along your journey will meet you on that path. Like, don't make your life about someone else. Because it's clearly shown in the movie that, Ken was just about Barbie and his whole, like early on it said like all I need, that his day was dependent on if she just looked and spoke to him or just looked at him. And it's like, man, that's such a shallow, weak, way to live. You know what I'm saying? So, but there's a lot more that can be said, more time than we would use on a podcast that you could discuss these types of things. But I just wanted to say that I think it's extremely important to stop and take some focus on that. That's a very important thing that this movie is trying to show you, is that like, don't make your life just about one person, especially at the expense of your own, especially at the expense of your own feelings and your own thoughts and your own desires and your own happiness. For anybody, whatever relationship that is, friendship, parent to child, child to parent, sibling, did I already say that? Dating relationship, any of those things, like, do not give away like you and your identity for someone else, especially at the detriment to yourself. So,
well said. You are enough. Yeah, and so once Ken learns that valuable life lesson for himself, Barbie is posed with the question of what is she going to do, and she
actually, before we get to that, I did want to say that there was something that as I was watching it struck me that I was like, ooh, this is very real. Was I think we start to see Ken, like, he's overcompensating because he felt unimportant. He felt not seen. He felt very just not important in the shadow of Barbie. One scene that was like really like hit a chord with me and all the feelings in my heart was when he was talking about, now it's guys' night every night. See, he was overcompensating, and he's like, okay, well now it's just all guys' night, and then Barbie really got to be on the other side of that. I think that's an important thing.
Yeah, she was like, oh, this is unfair.
Yes, and guys, and this is the biggest, most important thing about just life in general is just empathy and understanding someone else. Like Barbie was not, Margot Barbie was not. Her intention was not to hurt Ken at all. She was just living her Barbie life. You know what I mean?
Didn't know.
Yeah, and it was girls' night, and he felt marginalized. We don't even know if the Kens have a place to live in Barbie because we don't see any of their homes at all.
I saw pictures where people were photoshopping Ryan Gosling just laying on the beach with all the other Kens at night.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But that's what I'm saying is I get that. Also, just as a man, like, I was thinking about this, dude, on the way over here. Like I would. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. It doesn't matter what you think. I'm gonna tell you that in this specific area, like, if you don't think that you don't think we live in a patriarchy, then you're wrong. We do. You do. It's just a fact. But it's also very important to understand. That like that it's a grass is greener on the other side of the fence when you talk about male to female problems. Like, it's real easy to look at the other side and say, well, you guys get all this and this and this, and you focus on all the things they get, but you fail to understand the things that they don't get or the struggles that they do have. because it doesn't matter how privileged or however you want to put it, when you look on that other side, there's issues and problems that you don't see. You know what I mean? Like, the grass only looks greener until you're on the other side. Then you realize, wow, this is not that great either. And that's one of those things that I thought was very hard hitting for me. Like, because I did understand, like, Ken, it's like, man, like, not being seen and like that desire. And I think that's why, oh my gosh, I just don't want to get into these types of things, but that's why people like Andrew Tate are so popular for men, because I think we can all relate to Ken and what he was feeling. But obviously the way that he handled things, way too far, not okay, like definitely wrong. And I think the movie does a good job of sharing that. But I loved so much that moment where then we also see Barbie, even though there was no ill intent behind the things that she did. She was just living her life. But she does understand, like, hey, the things that I do affect other people. And sometimes when somebody is doing the thing that I was doing and I'm on the receiving end, wow, it really isn't fun and it isn't great. And it does make me feel sad and unimportant. I think that's the thing. And one of the things that at first was starting to bother me is when all the Barbies got together and they were talking about how they were going to get the guys and they were going to hit them. And I was like, man, dude, hurting them just because, now they're feeling a type of way, and it's very wrong. It's a little bit understandable, but it's still very wrong. It's not okay for you to go and hurt them, because that's what they're doing. They're making them feel bad on the beach. They were like making them feel unimportant again and making them feel like crap. And like, it just, to me, I was like, man, I really hope that they don't leave it with that, because it's not, the way to handle it is not causing harm or hurt or even just any kind of hate towards the opposite sex or whatever, however it is that you identify. Like, hurling hate at someone who has something you don't is never the way to do it. And even if one ideology or gender or whatever the case may be is being jerky and patriarchal in a toxic way, like it's never a right to cause and inflict harm on purpose, which, that's the thing that I don't know. I might have to think about a little bit more about their approach, but I understand also the motivations behind it and stuff like that. But usually when someone, and this is a struggle for me, because what it takes is it's going to take somebody who cares, who's kind, sometimes kinder than me, because I struggle with justice. Like, if you do something bad to somebody, you deserve that bad thing to happen to you too. Like, I'm very much like, oh, interesting. You like to do that? You think that it's cool to be a jerk and hurt people and not care? Well, let's see how you feel when that happens to you. And then that's where I get up in their face. I'm like, oh yeah, do you like that? Did you enjoy that? Is that fun? Do you think that's okay for you to do? So I can be very much like that in a bad way, and something I need to work on. But it's, I can help you with your mindset on that part of the movie. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I mean, and I was just like, man, let me just keep watching. And sure enough, they rebounded. I'll let Michael handle the rest of that. But I definitely did want to say that, like, that was something that was extremely important. And it struck me on an intellectual level, but also on an emotional level of like, hey, like, as men, we need to look after our women. They shouldn't be afraid and to walk down the street. Like, I think women should feel safe when they're around men that they don't know, not unsafe. And unfortunately, that's just not the real world. Like, when Barbie came in and she started to feel those things, that's just realistic, and that's not okay, and that's not right. But yeah, and at the same time, like, I think that we should also live in a world where men don't feel disenfranchised. They should feel respected, but they also should earn it, and they also should be able to be free and open about how they feel and stuff like that as well. Like, I don't think it's common for men to be able to just share their thoughts, share their feelings, share their emotions without feeling less like not as masculine because they do that. I don't think that should be the case either. I think it should be a masculine thing for a man to be able to say, hey, I was wrong. This is how I think. And like, and just to be able to work through that stuff. We don't have opportunities to work through that stuff. It's just, we just hear from unhealthy places like this is what it means to be a man. Just like Ken, hey, it's about horses and trucks and like, and then we get these distorted ideas about what it means to be masculine or be a man. And that's the thing that we've just got to fight, because like, I think when we live along those guidelines that tell us like, this is what it means to be a man, and you start to see that you're not helping or improving the lives of the people around you, then maybe your idea of masculinity is wrong. You know what I mean? And then maybe it needs some adjustment, like Ken. I think that it got to that good balance. But anyways, I'll let you continue. So after Barbie kind of understood when Ken was saying those things back to her, you know, I think that's where I kind of stole a mic from you. So sorry.
Hey, full-time movie fans, thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you had a good time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. We want to hang out and discuss the movie with you. So don't forget to do that below. Have a good one. I hope your day is everything you dreamed it'd be and more.